Hi, I'm Kevin Ring, Vice President of FAM. I wanted to take a few minutes to share with you some highlights of FAM's work from 2016. Of course, none of these accomplishments would have been possible without the support and help of friends like you. For 25 years, FAM's signature contribution to the sentencing reform movement has been telling the stories of real people affected by unjust and counterproductive mandatory sentencing policies. These stories move policymakers and the public in a way that facts and statistics simply cannot. In 2016, we took a major step to enhance our storytelling ability by hiring both our first ever multimedia director and a new storyteller. Already we have created new videos highlighting tragic cases, including that of Leo Guthmiller, a low-level drug addict who was sentenced to a mandatory 10 years in federal prison, despite the judge's strong objection to giving him such a lengthy sentence. We were able to meet and visit with Leo in the days before he reported to prison. We also made a short film about the case of Mandy Martinson, a nonviolent first-time drug offender who received a 15-year sentence. Mandy's story is a powerful one, and it was helpful in showing federal lawmakers just how limited the sentencing reform bills under consideration are, as Mandy's sentence was one that would not have been affected by the proposed reforms. In 2016, we also welcomed home Weldon Angelos, one of FAM's highest profile cases. Our President Julie Stewart was in court with Weldon 13 years ago when he was unjustly sentenced to 55 years in prison. He had become the poster child for mandatory sentencing reform over the past decade. When he was freed earlier this year, we brought him to Washington to meet with the members of Congress and others who had helped champion his case. Weldon brought one of his sons, who was forced to grow up without him, and it was a pleasure to watch them bond on their visit. FAM continued to lead the charge in Congress for sentencing reform and also played a leading role in Clemency Project 2014, a massive pro bono project which has helped to expedite the review of thousands of commutation petitions. So far, President Obama has commuted 774 sentences, more than the last 11 presidents combined. In 2016, FAM also expanded its state advocacy efforts. In Maryland, we helped support the successful effort to completely repeal mandatory minimums for lower-level drug offenders. We spearheaded a major victory in Florida, persuading the legislature to repeal a mandatory minimum for the first time in 20 years. And in Iowa, we secured a reform that will cut in half the time individuals serving mandatory sentences must serve before becoming eligible for parole. In March, FAM celebrated its 25th anniversary with a sold-out dinner attended by fellow advocates, supporters, and former prisoners whose sentences were shortened because of FAM's work. During their stay in Washington, many of these former prisoners went with us to Capitol Hill so that they could share their stories firsthand and try to convince lawmakers to change the laws so that others do not have to suffer from excessive and unnecessary prison terms. 2016 has been a great year for FAM, but you don't need to take my word for it. Just listen to the policymakers and former prisoners who have seen and benefited from our work firsthand. And thanks again for your support and help.
FAM has played an important role in this process for 25 years and is just getting started in the sense that there's so much good that is now happening as a result of FAM's efforts over the last 25 years.
And the way Families Against Mandatory Minimums were bringing the families to the forefront, sharing the stories, and essentially sharing how this was impacting people across racial lines. It was impacting people around the country. And so I always saw FAM as being the leading organization that was fighting the good fight.
So FAM gave some credibility to what we were hearing if something was on the forefront, because everybody looked forward to the newsletters. And I just applaud them for their efforts over the years. Enough can't be said about what they've done for sentencing for so many people.
But I knew about FAM when they first started, and I would never forget FAM because FAM helped me so much, and I'm grateful for them.